Hi, everyone. I'm Contessa Brewer. Thank you for joining us. The Democratic primary candidates are getting ready to face off tomorrow night in Las Vegas. Hillary Clinton will take center stage. She'll be flanked by Bernie Sanders and Martin O'Malley. Jim Webb and Lincoln Chafee will be positioned at the outside spots. Webb, O'Malley, and Sanders spent Monday honing their messages ahead of the debate. Chafee and Clinton did not hold public events. Now, Clinton leads Sanders by 19 points, according to a new CBS News poll. Vice President Joe Biden has not said if he's running, but he's polling at 16% support, far ahead of fourth-place Jim Webb. CNN still isn't taking any chances, though. They do have a sixth podium ready for Biden, should he make any last-minute decisions. We have CBS News senior political editor in Las Vegas, Steve Chaggaris, and Kevin Robillard is a campaign reporter for Politico. He's in Washington, D.C. Good to see you both.
Great to be on.
Steve, let me begin with you.
Hey, Contessa.
Why would Biden enter this race at the last minute? What possibly could he gain?
Well, I don't think we're going to see him do this. I think that there's probably not much for him to gain except a huge amount of attention. He hasn't really prepped for this. He doesn't have a campaign up and running. And I think it's just looking really unlikely at this point that he's just going to show up randomly in Vegas. Some of our reporting that we're seeing suggests he's going to just watch this from home. And again, there's not much for him to gain at this point. I think he's going to wait it out a little bit to see how Hillary Clinton does, at the debate, and also how she does next week at the Benghazi hearings where she's going to be testifying.
All right, so let me turn to you, Kevin. CBS News, the poll here has Biden coming in at 16%, not even in the race. What's really remarkable, though, is his trustworthiness here. When you look at the polling, it looks like Biden comes in far, far, far ahead of Hillary Clinton. Would that change if he were to enter the race?
Yes, the best candidate is always the one who's not actually in the race yet. And were Biden to actually enter the race, the giant apparatus that Hillary Clinton has built up with groups like Correct the Record and Priorities would start going through Biden's record and finding those instances. And there are plenty from a very long political career where he deviates from sort of current Democratic political orthodoxy. And that goes all the way back to the Anita Hill hearings, either further back than that. He has some comments on abortion rights that certainly don't fit with what Democrats expect today.
President Obama spoke out about Hillary Clinton and the subject that she's been forced to address on the campaign trail, at campaign events, in interviews over and over again. And he was on 60 Minutes talking to Steve Kroft about Hillary Clinton's email server. Here's what he said.
I don't think it posed a national security problem. I think that it was a mistake that she's acknowledged. And, you know, as a general proposition, when we're in these offices, we have to be more sensitive and stay as far away from the line as possible when it comes to how we handle information, how we handle our own personal data. And, you know, she made a mistake. She's acknowledged it. I do think that the way it's been ginned up is in part because of politics.
But Jim, but David Axelrod, who's a former Obama strategist, said in an op-ed today, Steve, that Hillary Clinton needs to give Democrats a reason to believe. How does she do that when over and over again, even the president is forced to address her email issue?
Well, it's interesting what the president said last night, but that's also in the shadow of what happened last week with Kevin McCarthy, the guy who was running for Speaker of the House until he dropped out, where he basically handed Hillary Clinton on a platter an argument against what's been going on with this Benghazi committee investigating the emails. He basically admitted this was all because of politics, which is the line she's been taking, which is the line that President Obama took in the interview last night. And frankly, I think she's just going to take that and run with it. You heard her do that last week. I think she'll continue doing that. This is a game of politics now. It'll be really interesting to see how she handles this in the line of fire next week at the hearing in front of Republicans on the Benghazi committee. But it seems like that if you have top Republicans in the House suggesting that all this is Republican is politics, then she's got an argument that really they shouldn't have handed to her.
Let me ask you about those lowest three polling candidates. Clinton's top aide, we're led to understand, is playing O'Malley in her debate prep, not Bernie Sanders. When those three get up on, when Lincoln Chafee Martin O'Malley and Jim Webb get up on that stage tomorrow night, they will have equal footing to Hillary Clinton. Kevin, is this an opportunity for them? Could we be surprised by someone pulling ahead in the polling after this first debate?
We could be. I would say it's not very likely. Particularly Webb and Chafee don't really have any campaign apparatus. So even if they did have an extremely good debate, it's not clear how they would be able to take advantage of it. O'Malley does have more of a campaign apparatus, and I think that's part of the reason why you're seeing Hillary's top aide play him. He's probably more likely to go directly after Hillary than Sanders is, just because of sort of the positions that both of them find themselves in. And Sanders particularly isn't known for wanting to go directly at people the way O'Malley might be willing to. So O'Malley is the one who's most likely to try to seize on a moment. He's also made a very big deal out of the debates and wanting more of them. So he really needs to have a good debate to sort of own up to his desire to have so many debates.
Kevin, Bernie Sanders has been out on the campaign trail. He's been hitting hard, the same topics over and over. He has not changed his position about the TPP, the trade deal that's pending. He's always been an outspoken advocate for gun control, and the shooting at the community college in Oregon has led him to a greater platform on that front. How's he doing in terms of organization, and what could tomorrow's debate do for him?
For Sanders, you know, he definitely has organizers. He has committed volunteers. He's the kind of guy who can generate sort of lots of excitement among the type of liberal activists who staff these campaigns in places like Iowa and New Hampshire. So he definitely has the organization. It's just a matter of whether he can get beyond sort of the base he's built up for himself, which at this point is mostly white voters. This is a big opportunity for him to introduce himself to a lot of minority voters who in some states make up a majority of the Democratic primary electorate.
You know, it looks like we're seeing sort of a fizzle in enthusiasm here. The polls show that when people were asked if their frontrunner right now, Hillary Clinton, were to become the nominee, how many would enthusiastically support her? 47%, just half. When it comes time for a general election, could it be the Republican nominee who is the biggest motivator in encouraging Democratic voter turnout? What do you think, Steve?
It depends on who it is. I mean, I think this is the danger that Hillary Clinton was in from the very beginning. We knew she was running. We've known for years she was going to run this year. She's run before. Democrats know what they're getting with her. And I think one of the things they like about Sanders is he's talking to that slice, the really passionate slice of the Democratic electorate, the liberal left wing of the Democratic Party. It's just a lot more energy there. Now, clearly, it's you know, the question is that going to be enough to get him the nomination? Well, assuming that it isn't, and Hillary Clinton becomes the nominee, the question is, how is she going to energize that base of the Democratic Party to get out there, and frankly, independents in the general election? It all depends on who the Republicans nominate. Now, if the Republicans nominate somebody like Donald Trump, who is quite polarizing, and if you look at polls among the general electorate, people don't really like Donald Trump that much. Republicans seem to like him a lot more than the general electorate. That could energize Democrats to go out and vote against Donald Trump and for Hillary Clinton. You know, if it's somebody that's a little bit more down the middle, somebody like Marco Rubio, for instance, who reportedly the Clinton folks seem to be more concerned about than some of the other Republican candidates, that could be trouble for Hillary Clinton. That could, you know, a guy like Rubio could energize independents and Republicans to get out the vote and really swarm or swamp the Democrats next November.
All right, Steve Chaggaris and Kevin Robillard, excited for tomorrow's debate there in Las Vegas. Thank you so much. And we will have full coverage of the Democratic debate beginning Tuesday at 7 p.m.